management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Sharp! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information.
MTN.
It's 12 o'clock. This is the Midday News. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra. We are live in Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM. On Facebook, we're streaming live over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including Radio Wa in Wa, ATL FM in Cape Coast, KTU Radio, Koforidua Radio Max in Takrade, Lonyo FM is in Hohoi, A1 Radio Dreams FM in Bogatanga, Jubilee Radio in Keta. You can go digital on Spotify and the Mind Joy online app. And coming up.
Better, Yaniska ebe for box.
Sikana kosru dodo. Debia ya banyame ya tum. Debia ya banyame ya tum.
Traders up in arms against government, demanding urgent steps to address current economic challenges as they say their business have been rendered unprofitable. There's a protest set to begin tomorrow with all shops earmarked for closure.
It is affecting my business because I'm into building and construction and all that.
We agree with Guta. Tomorrow, all of us are going to lock up shops to show the government they should stand up and do something about what is going on.
We have the very latest for you. Also, strike by University Teachers Association of Ghana begins to bite hard as the School of Graduate Studies at the University of Ghana postpones PhD oral examination. We have details as UTAG UCC sets out of the strike. And later, Ghana and IMF negotiation nears conclusion with staff-level agreements set for approval as the Finance Minister expresses optimism for his 2023 budget.
I'm excited about where we are. Which means, therefore, that if we complete it by year end, it means disbursements from fund which replaces what we would have done by going to the international market.
But the IMF is warning members to expect tougher times ahead.
Difficult challenges lie ahead. The path is likely to be just as tough, if not tougher.
Meanwhile, President Akufo-Addo has described the negotiations as the most transparent.
It's the most transparent process any government has done with an IMF program. The most transparent.
And coming up later in sports.
House of Oak board member Sowa Odote is hit back at the club's fans, suggesting that they've lost touch with reality.
Thank you to bring us details. And much later here on the Midday News, reigning Central Region NSMQ champions at the Saddle College say they will make it to the grand finale and win the trophy this year.
We are going to the finals. And when we go to the finals, I promise you, you can't stand it.
When you get to the finals, you don't win.
There's going to be a difference this year.
And much later, the myth about lawyers being buried with their heads down and the belief most of them are likely candidates for hell.
The profession that will be best represented in heaven will be the legal profession. And I'll tell you why.
Details of these and more here in this half-hour package. Please stay with us. Hello again, my name is Ernest Manu. Many thanks for choosing us. This is Joy News, independent, fearless and credible. This afternoon, traders are up in arms against government. It is a loud call for urgent steps to address challenges facing the Ghanaian economy, which they say have rendered their businesses unprofitable. The Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, is set to announce a series of measures geared at piling pressure on government to fix the out-of-gear cedi, general inflation and poor standards of living. The Ghanaian is heavily distressed with government racing against time for an IMF support program. GUTA President Dr. Joseph Obin says protesting in the form of closure of shops is one way of getting government to listen.
We have said that cost of doing business is very high and that the introduction of the VAT 19.5, that's the standard rate, that's what caused the problem in Kumasi and all that. We have to look at it. That one is something that we can do ASAP, that we do the flat rate that we have been doing for 5 years. It's only the migration, and that is also contributing because we're paying a flat rate of 3%, and now we have been migrated to 19.25, 16% difference. That's also contributing to the inflation that we are seeing.
Members of the association have expressed their readiness to participate in this protest. My colleague Ernest Manu has been interacting with some of them at the Okaishi market.
Happy is not happy this morning. You can clearly hear from her voice frustration, distress. All she's saying is that she supports the call by Guta for the shops to be closed. I asked her whether she wasn't concerned about it affecting her daily bread, and she said her money matters are even not too good anyway, so what's there to lose? Every time the prices increase and they are not happy about that, when they come, they go and sell. Those who they sell to buy on credit, and when they go to get their monies back, it's another matter altogether. So Georgina is basically pleading with government to do something about this situation. So she says she doesn't have enough money to buy a box of shoes. So she and some other friends buy one box, they split the goods and they sell them. When they sell them, for example, 17 per item, when they go back for more goods, they realize the prices have increased, so they run at a loss eventually. So she's also frustrated, asking government to do something about the situation.
We agree with Guta. Tomorrow, all of us are going to lock up shops to show the government they should stand up and do something about what is going on. I think our leaders are sitting down quiet. They are not saying anything. At least you should come out and tell us this is the reason, or this is what is wrong. Do you understand? If you care for us to sustain the economy, you have to think about that. Right now, I can show you our VAT receipts every month. We pay, we do our duty. So what are your concerns about that?
Came here a few months ago to buy towels, and I bought it one box for I think 47 cedis. And all of a sudden they are saying one is 67.
Those are some traders at the Okaishi market interacting with my colleague Ernest Manu. So let's go to the phone lines now and speak to Samuel Kojo-Brace. He joins us from a news conference organized by Guta. Samuel, is it clear to us how long this protest will last?
So it will last till next week, Monday. According to them, they will be starting tomorrow, and they will only end next week, Monday. That's how long it will take.
Points or solutions that we preferred have not been even adopted for use. And now we can see that the exchange have risen up to 13 Ghana cedis per dollar, which is very difficult because we started the year with 6.2. And now we are at 30. Means that every trader, any business community have lost 50% of its capital. Whilst SM rate is doing this to us, the interest rate is also taken from the left. Started the year with 22%, now we are at 38%. We cannot take it any longer. It is too much, and then we want to give a pinch to the government.
Samuel Kojo-Brace is still with me on the line. Sami, they are doing this for almost 1 week. Are they not concerned about the adverse effect this will have, not just on them, but also the people who depend on them?
Well, if you look at the traders who have come here, first of all, they are having a meeting with the members to brief them on what has been happening between the leadership and the Council of State about the intervention they can do to get them to rescind this decision. So they are meeting the members to brief them on that, and then they will declare that the shops will be closed starting tomorrow. If you look at them, they are not worried about how the closure will affect them. I think that they've had it. If you listen to the president, they say they can no longer take this, and therefore they are ready to embark on this closure.
A member of Parliament's Trade and Industry Committee, Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed, meanwhile says government cannot continue to exonerate itself from responsibility for the current challenges. He wants accountability from the finance minister, while calling for a shift from being an import-dependent nation to one that manufactures for export.
The Minister for Finance should tell us, this COVID levy we are paying, the COVID levy was imposed for the purposes of the so-called free water and free electricity they gave the people of this country. How much they have collected as a result of COVID levy, we don't know. As to whether we have paid more than enough to take care of the free electricity and the free water? Nobody knows. Assuming that they have collected this COVID levy, that is more than the amount of money they claim they spend for people in the name of COVID, that would be extortion. We are going to demand. But then we are where we are because we are hugely import dependent. We are where we are because we import more than we export. Why are we hugely import dependent? We are hugely import dependent because this government is failing or gross incompetent to continue with some of the policy interventions that were introduced by the ND.
Member of Parliament's Trade and Industry Committee, Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed. Let's stay on the labour front because the industrial action embarked on by University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, is beginning to bite hard as the School of Graduate Studies at the University of Ghana has postponed the PhD oral examination until further notice. The University Teachers Association of Ghana, the Tertiary Education Workers Union, the Senior Staff Association of Universities of Ghana, and the Ghana Association of University Administrators on Monday began an industrial action over vehicle maintenance allowance and other conditions of service. According to them, the strike has become necessary due to the employer's failure to pay the agreed allowance. However, UCC UTAG is sitting out of the strike because of some reasons. Richard Kojinako joins us in the studio with details of that. But first, Richard, give us details of what is happening at the various university campuses.
Well, so let's start from the University of Ghana, where a mail has been sent from the School of Graduate Studies informing the university community that the PhD examination have been postponed until further notice, and so heads of academic unit are therefore kindly requested to inform the examiners and students who have been scheduled accordingly. A new date for the examination would be communicated when the strike is suspended. At the University of Cape Coast, they have also written to the national leadership that they are sitting out of the strike because of a peculiar situation they find themselves in. The academic calendar is different, and so currently the students are yet to start the examination, and so that is why they are asking their national leadership for them to also stay out of the strike action. If you go to the University of Education, Winneba, exams have already started, but the lecturers say they are not part of the examination that is ongoing.
Richard, thank you very much for bringing us those details. Let's go to the phone lines now and find out some more on this industrial action. We're joined by the UTAG National President, Dr. Solomon Nunu. Thank you very much, sir, for your time here on the Midday News. So, how far have you gone with negotiations about the issues that you're striking over? 2 weeks ago, you warned that you were going to do this, and there was supposed to be a meeting to resolve the issue. What is the update from there?
So last week we had an engagement with the NLC. At the NLC, the directive that came was that they should we should engage and then discuss in terms of payment. However, when we met last week Friday, the government team, which is our employers, they said that terms of payment to them does not imply paying the money to us. So with that, the meeting ended in a stalemate because they wanted a 10-member committee to renegotiate the issues, which we think is inappropriate because we've already finished negotiating and signed everything into action on the 16th of June 2021. So we don't see the need for any renegotiation at this point in time. So at the end of the meeting, as a result of the stalemate, we went ahead and informed members where they said there's a need for us to sit out since all efforts to get them to engage and to address the issues has failed. So that is the situation, the update as of now.
And already one of your members is sitting out of the strike, that's UCC UTAG. How is this, first of all, has this come to the attention of the national leadership, and do you think it will affect the impact, the message that you're drumming home?
When we come to UTAG, anytime we are about to embark on a strike action, we go to the members and take the mandate from them. And always the mandates are collated from all the 15-member campuses, and it's a majority decision. So if you check the dates on that one, the letter came to us a week earlier before the strike action was declared. So there they expressed their sentiments to us, which we listened to and took into consideration. However, majority decision, we decided to go ahead with the strike. But since they have to write their exam, do allow them to write the exam but they are with us fully. If you read the letter in full, you'll notice that UCC UTAC is fully behind the strike action, and they do side with every decision that we have made so far.
Thank you very much for your time. That's the national president of UTAC, Dr. Solomon Nunu. An International Monetary Fund staff level agreement is expected to be reached with Ghana this week for a possible $3 billion bailout. Details of the agreement is expected to form the basis of Ghana's 2023 budget to be presented in the middle of November. The Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, who is leading the Ghana team in negotiation with the IMF in Washington, D.C., is optimistic the agreement will offer Ghana the opportunity to access the funds early next year.
The discussions with the fund are going very well. What we intended to do is to get as close to a staff level agreement as possible so that we can incorporate all of our decisions, most of them, into the budget, so there will be no reversal, and therefore by year end, hopefully the board will approve. The fund is very motivated. We are 24/7. We'll stay a few more days after this annual meetings and ensure that, we make, solid progress going forward. So I'm excited about where we are, which means, therefore, that if we complete it by year end, it means disbursements from the fund, which replaces what we would have done by going to the international market. So really, in my mind, there's no need for speculation as to where the currency should. If you look at our government's record, we came in inheriting an asset quality review that was terrible.
Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta there, but the minority on Parliament's Finance Committee have cast doubt over government's chances to close a deal with the IMF by end of year. Let's hear from the ranking member on the Finance Committee, Dr. Kezela Tuforsen. He spoke to Joy Business in Washington, D.C.
I would wish Ghana fast track it, and I'm for a very quick IMF program. But I can assure you that November is not possible, December not possible. The earliest Ghana can have an IMF program, if we are committed to it, will be in the first quarter of 2023.
Meanwhile, the IMF is warning of tough times ahead. Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva says the fund has so far released over $300 billion to support countries in dire need of support.
Crisis has followed crisis. Many countries faced sharply reduced buffers and increased external pressures, and the IMF stepped up to help. In fact, with an unprecedented response, $260 billion in new financing to 93 economies delivered with record speed.
Well, back home, President Akufo-Addo says his government has been very transparent in the IMF negotiation.
It's very easy for people to say it's mismanagement. I don't accept that criticism. Yes, because the reasons why we got into where we got had very little to do with the Ghanaian economy.
Good.
The way it was being managed had everything to do with the economists call exogenous factors, things to do that came from the outside. We're going to come to do a budget to the country in the middle of November. I'm hoping that the IMF negotiations will be over, at least substantially, so we'll have a clear idea of the elements of the agreement with the fund, which hopefully will be able to feed into the budget.
Good.
And have that drive our budgetary projections for the next year. We're looking for a program now which will give us significant relief as far as support for our balance of payments are concerned. It's the most transparent process any government has done with an IMF program. The most transparent of all the public engagement.
President Akufo-Addo there, and as you may know, he's touring the Ashanti region. Today is day 3. Ohemin Teria is with the president. Ohemin, what can you report on day 3 of the president's tour?
Thank you. Currently, the president is meeting the members of the Ashanti Regional Security Council, and from there, he will move to Swami, where he will cast forth for the much anticipated Swami interchange, the 4th-year project we are told. Is expected to be completed within 30 months. And from here, the president will also continue his in Suta Kwama Deposo, where he will commission one district, one factory project, and also cast salt for Agenda 111 hospital project.
Ohemi, thank you very much for the update. Time now for our Living Standard series. And after attaining a first class and completing her national service as a teaching assistant at the University of Education, Winneba, Priscilla Akwagu vowed to get her family out of poverty. She returned to her family's fruit selling business to take care of her 2 children and make wealth. Love FM's bright Emmanuel Kweku caught up with her at her base at Asante Mampong for our Living Standard series today.
I refer them as the brown mouth-watering balls of Asante Mampong, but they are known locally as bofruits, a corrupted word of buffalo in some parts of the country. This is not just a mere favorite accompaniment to most Ghanaian breakfast meals, but a life changer. Priscilla Akwagu, a 32-year-old single mother of 2, weaned her family off abject poverty through hawking buffalo.
As a kid growing up, I lived with my brother. My mom was somewhere and I was with my brother in Kumasi. So I started the hawking business, selling things over there. I was selling sugarcane. That was how we were surviving. My mom happens to sell, and then the debt was on her. I decided to see how best I can also help her clear off the debts, because definitely I'm the eldest daughter, and then I should be able to support her, even though I was working, but that wasn't helping. So I took over, and I realized it was a good business. So I just decided to manage it. I can buy maybe 5 drums of the flour, the oil. I can buy 5 bags of the flour, and that can last me for roughly 2 weeks. But now, because you have 2,000, you buy just 2 of this, 2 of the flour, and you are gone. Where is the one you are going to use to buy the sugar, the margarine, and then you go to the mill and fix it and mix it? How are you going to pay for it?
And that's it for our Living Standard series. You're listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM with me, Ernest Manu. We're taking a break. On Warrior 10, we'll bring you sports and also hear from the reigning Central Region NSMQ champions at the Sado College, who say they will make it to the grand finale this year and win the trophy. And also the myth about lawyers being buried with their heads down and the belief that most of them are likely candidates for hell.
The profession that will be best represented in heaven will be the legal profession. And I'll tell you why.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. Time now for sports, and Fentu is here with the latest.
House of Oaks board members Vincent Sowa Odote and Alhaji Akambi have come under increased pressure from France to resign from their positions. The two were held hostage by angry fans for close to 3 hours after the club's exit from the CAF Confederation Cup last Sunday. Together with Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, the trio have been blamed for the club's consistent failure to reach the group stages of CAF competitions. But Odote Sowa says it is short-sighted to assume the club has been failing.
You can ask the FA, you can ask everything. The facts don't like. They can have their own opinion. They cannot have their own facts. We are the most successful club in the past 2 years since Toby Apeda became the executive chairman. At the moment, for the first time in the history of Accra Hearts of Oak, we train on our own pitch. We don't move from renting pitches altogether. As I speak to you now today, when you go to our Poby Man, we are starting to roll out the most expansive artificial turf. We have 4 pitches in our academy. It's not just a football academy, it's a sports facility with a mini golf, with lawn tennis, basketball, volleyball. And then one is done, there's a plan to build a 100-room 3-star hotel. When you come to the pitch, people will say that you talk about the head office, you talk about our commercial center. I disagree with them. The club is progressing, the club has progressed.
Vincent Sowa Odote is a Accra House of Oaks board member, bringing an end to sports.
Thank you very much. I must say that they're doing some good stuff there, especially with their project.
They are. Have
you seen the one coming up at the Braka?
Yeah. It's very impressive. Once completed, that would be some sort of amazing project for them.
Great. Now, stigmatization is threatening the Ghana Education Services school re-entry policy for pregnant adolescent girls and adolescent mothers. The policy is aimed at ensuring that the girl child attains her full potential by returning to school with or without pregnancy or childbirth. John News' latest documentary, dubbed Girls' School Pregnancy, produced by MFR Etiamwa Eli, details how some girls in the Akachi North district of the Volta region are braving the odds to get their lives back.
Data from the latest multiple cluster indicator survey show that teenage pregnancy is most prevalent in Ghana's Upper West, Upper East, and Volta regions. In the Akachi North district, figures are higher than the national average. So we travel to Avedakba, one of the communities in Akachi North, where teenage pregnancy is very common.
Akachi North happens to be the highest recording district in the Volta region. Currently, Akachi North is recording about 22% of adolescent pregnancies. About 4.5% of those pregnancies are children below 14 years, which is clearly cases of defilement.
16-year-old Joyce Achu is among several adolescent girls who got pregnant while in school. She plans to return to school after giving birth and nursing her child for at least 2 years.
MFI Tiamwa Eli produced that documentary. The full one airs later on the Joy News channel, and the minority leader, Haruna Idrisu, says President Akufo-Addo should be concerned about the number of judges he is appointing to the Supreme Court. President Akufo-Addo has nominated 4 new judges to the court. If approved, it will bring the number to 15. The judges is appointed to the Apex Court so far. That will make him the president with the highest number of appointees to the highest court. Delivering his introductory remarks ahead of the vetting of the 4 nominees, Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu charged the president to guarantee the court's independence.
The judiciary sometimes even criticisms against them when they poorly deliver judgment and don't write them well. They say we shouldn't criticize them. It's part of political accountability for us to demand that things are done and done right. So throughout our history, Chairman, the number of Superior Court justices normally stay around 14, 15, not 19. So Nana Adudankwa, what is he doing to the Supreme Court? We want him to guarantee the independence and autonomy of the judiciary as a fearless arm of government that should deliver justice. But today, Madam Barbara, it is your turn. So Chairman, let me leave it here and welcome her. And then you
Haruna Idrisu is Minority Leader. We will bring you details of that vetting in our subsequent bulletins. Reigning Central Region NSMQ champions at the Sado College have qualified for the quarterfinals of the National Science and Maths Quiz after beating Kufuor Tech and Achinswa SHS. Adisco hold the record as the only school to make it to 4 consecutive finals of the competition since its inception 28 years ago. The Zebra Boys made it to the 2015, 2016, 2017 and 2018 grand finales, but only one in 2016. Maxwell Asmo.
At the end of round 5, here are the scores. At Cherencia Senior High School, 1 point. Florida Secondary Technical School, 30 points. At Disadel College, 52 points.
Give up your best at the school, you will see. If you pray hard and work hard and play hard, at Disadel College has made it to the quarterfinals of the 2022 National Science and Maths Quiz. They are on record to be the only school to make it to 4 consecutive grand finales. They made it in 2015, they made it in 2016, in 2017 and 2018. They've won the trophy only once, and this time they have made it again to the quarterfinals, hoping to make it to the grand finale. This time they say they're not only making it to the grand finale, but they will win the trophy as well. They outclassed Concordia Secondary Technical School and our Trench Senior High School together here. And the celebration will continue right here. We have no students here.
I'm Prince Kakari Mesa.
Okay, which year did you complete?
2015. Right. Adisada College is a Kando Spirit School. You know, when you are in Adisada College, We always have the candle spirit to do anything we want to do in the world. Okay. In politics, in education, in sports, in anything we want to do in the world. So at this other college, we had the candle spirit to do anything we want to do. And just last year, we went to quarterfinals. This year, we are going to lift the cup.
Maxwell Brother interacting with all students of our disco will bring you more contests later today on the Joy News channel.
The 2022 National Science and Maths Quiz is produced by Primetime Limited and is sponsored by the Ghana Education Service in partnership with APSA Ghana and supported by Goyle, Prudential Life Insurance, Airtel Tigo. The broadcast of the National Science and Maths Quiz on Joy News is supported by Virtual InfoSec Africa, Virtual Security Africa, Vitamilk, Cowbell, Alumni by Enterprise Life, Fatex Toilet Roll, Ace Medical Insurance, Azar Group, Kings Group Limited, Family Health Medical School, DBS, ZNZ, the Basto School, Koba, and Lumitrust.
And you can join the conversation with the hashtag NSMQ on Joy. That's it for the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM. We'll leave you with a sound from the president of the Ghana Bar Association, who's been speaking about the rationale behind lawyers being buried with their heads down and what most of you believe the fact that they are likely candidates for hell. Listen.
Growing up, people always say that lawyers are buried upside down and that we are the surest candidate for hell. But I always tell people that the profession that will be best represented in heaven will be the legal profession. And I'll tell you why. Jesus Christ said on the last day, on that day, I will ask you, when I was hungry, did you clothe me? When I was poor, did you help me? We are the only profession that by our training, we help the poor. Because if you go to any country, there is no free medical aid. There's no free engineering aid. But there's legal aid in every democracy.